Hi guys, it's me Kenji from the Tradveller. Today I'm in the second part of all those points, perception and mindset that you should have in your journey of learning to trade. Let's go! Continue from our previous point. The next point I want to talk about is don't look at your floating P&L or account balance during you have open positions. Why? You see, trading in itself is quite a boring activity because most of the time we are spending our time sitting and look at the chart and do nothing. Yes, we only do trade or take trade when the signal come according to our plan. So anytime out of it, we simply do nothing and look at it. And the thing is, because of this, I would say boringness, after you have an open positions already, you have to monitor the markets according to your plan. And because of this boringness, you look at the plotting P&L, you get stimulated by it. When it gives you a very good positive number, it's like, oh yes, finally you feel something over there. Or when it gives you a negative number, you have a floating loss, you might feel annoyed with it and you have to keep looking at it for a long time and it's still staying there. And all this stimulation you have, all this emotional stimulation you have from looking at your floating P&L, after a while or after times, it definitely going to wear off your resistance of not doing anything according to your plan. And after that, you know what? You are going to do something either by getting out of your positions much earlier than it should be, hence cut off your chance of big win, or you might cutting out your positions too early while it's still having floating loss. What do I mean by this? Let's say you have a stop loss level putting there already. However, the price doesn't move according to your direction for a long time, maybe a few days, it's just consolidating, but it didn't take you out. And after all this day of looking at the chart, seeing the thing not going anywhere, and the profit and loss is a negative number, it is really annoying, irritating. So what should I do to get myself away from this irritation? I close my positions, and you know what? It will fly after that. Who knows, right? So all of this, looking at your floating P&L while trading, is something going to wear off your resistance in not doing anything that you shouldn't do. And because of it, if you can, just ignore them. What you should focus on is whether your signal of getting out is there already or not, but not your floating P&L. The next thing we want to talk about is protect your capitals. Yes, something very not sexy at all. Protect your capital. Why? Because mathematically it is very disadvantageous to have loss. The reason is, you see, let's say you start with whatever the number, maybe 1,000, 10,000 or maybe 100,000. If you lose 50%, let's say we have 100,000, you lose 50%, what you left is 50,000. Okay, cool. Now, in order for you to go back to where you started, you need to make 100% from what you have on hand now. Is that really that easy? I would say no. Seriously, it's not. You see, when you lose, you just lose a 50, something smaller compared to what you have to get back to your original. This is the unfairness of mathematics over there. And because of this, protecting capital is utmost important thing. We may let a good trade go away just because it doesn't fit our requirements, but by taking a lot of not so good trade, we could bring ourselves to this very disadvantaged point on the game side. So protect your capital. Always risk a very limited amount, maybe 1 to 5% the max in each trade, if let's say you hit a stop loss. The next thing is having a very limited set of buyers only. Do not have more than 2 or 3 buyers in the market. So what is a bias? When I say bias, it seems like something sounds very negative, or we shouldn't act with bias, we should act rationally. But the truth is, the moment you have an idea about the market, whether it will go up or it might go up or down, you are actually having a bias already. And what I say, I don't mean that bias is bad. Bias is a way for us to judge the market. Our age, our trading plan in itself is a bias. This is what I want to mean with bias. So it's very important that to have only a limited set, maximum I would say 2 set of bias. Why? Because you might have too much bias, all of them is working fine, but because we are human, when we are executing them manually, it's very easy for us to get lost on what we are doing. If let's say we are operating with a lot of buyers. Imagine I have 5 buyers and 3 of them are asking me to long, 2 of them are asking me to short. What should I do? It's a 60% over 40%. Should I go for a long? Maybe I shouldn't. And in the end, after all the analysis you have done with your biases, the trade might have already just moved and you just lost it. On top of that, the energy, the time and effort a person spending in analysis through all those biases, it could be quite tedious and very consuming. So is that really sustainable for you as a trader to make it in the long run? I would say it is not. So, or even worse, is that, let's say you still have that 5 biases. 4 of them call for a long, 1 of them call for a short. Under this one, it should be pretty clear that we should go for the long, right? Alright, we go for a long after all the analysis. However, due to the nature of market is random indeed, it opened up as losses for this trade. Okay, it's highly possible it happened that way. So what now? After all the time, the effort, all these biases, I analyze them and asking me for long, I go for long, it becomes a cut loss. Whereas someone else with 1 or 2 bias, they are playing well with their edges, they're just waiting for their edges to come and playing well and grow their account. Why should I put myself in this unsustainable, confusing and messy way of trading? Hence, it is really crucial to have only a limited number of bias or edges and just play along with the edges. Compound interest is the favorable side of the mathematical game we want to be at. And one very important point is that we talk about a lot of biases, right? News itself is one type of biases, and do not take news as your biases. You can learn things from news, but news is not the one to call for long or short for you. You have to judge it according to your age. The next point is risk meaningfully. What do I mean by this? Definitely, you do not want to risk too much in your trade because you can get easily wiped out by 1 or 2 wrong trades. And you do not want to risk nothing in trade. Why I'm saying that? Because if you are risking so small, or even I say you are using demo account, the first thing is when there's a lost trade happen, you will not be serious with it. It didn't trigger you anything. It's that you will be not serious with these whole things. And because you are not serious with this whole thing, you stop improving from there. And because you stop improving from there, you stay where you are. And when you put in the real money, you will just having the loss. This is why it is very important to risk meaningfully. Not too much, but at least it's meaningful for you. It encourages you to put in more effort to be better. And when you lose, it becomes a motivator of the discomfort that you have, that you need to be better in what you do. And one thing with playing with demo account is that it's very easy while you're learning. You will get delusional when using demo account, which means you may be starting with a $100,000 demo account and you make it and become a 1 million account. Suddenly you become so confident, and this confident by itself delusional, because if today you are using a real money, the real fund of 100,000, the emotional stimulation, the emotional stress is totally on different level compared to demo account. In demo account, you seriously feel nothing, but in real life, it will give you this delusional feeling of you are making it already. So risk meaningfully. The next point is, do not borrow fund or source for investment while you are still learning. This is very important. You see, when we are learning, we are in a stable stage. Maybe you have your edge already, you have your plan already, you are still going along with it, and maybe you are even making money, start making money from your edge and your plan already. So at this point of time, please give yourself maybe a few more, I'll say at least a year or 2, at least, if you are doing a very active kind of trading, because in market a lot of things can happen. We have to be in market for a long enough time to have a proper grasp of how bad a market could be. And before you have an idea about that, if you get an investment from others, some sudden big loss might give you a very huge emotional stress that you are not prepared for. And because of that, you might start behave emotionally, trying to make back because you don't want to feel the feeling of having huge loss from your trading, and those losses is actually you get from others people, and usually they are important to you. So this is something you have to get yourself prepared. in order for you to trade with the monies of others. And the other thing is, the investor, those people who fund the money to you, they could have a very different expectation than you and your age can do. Let's say your age can return 20% a year, but because of the fund they give to you and you so eagerly want to start big with the fund, they might say they only can give the fund if you can achieve a 40% return in a year. And because of the eagerness of getting the fund, you will say yes, let's say. So now you have a difference in expectations already. They have a higher expectation than what you can perform. And now what you're going to do? There's a good likelihood you will start to taking more risk, try to force a trade, and in the end, you are going to lose more, not only the money, the credibility with this investor who could be your friends or family, and most importantly, you could lose your confidence pretty bad from here. So it is very important, do not borrow or source for investment while you are still learning at the beginning. Okay guys, we come to an end of all this sharing of mindset, perceptions in trading for traders while learning. I hope this 2 sessions is really helpful for you. These are some of my very painful experience I have, and hopefully we can go together, we can make it big together, and may the fortune be with you. Bye.